There. Okay.
Okay. For those of you that are just joining us, we're giving it just a few minutes for 1 o'clock Pacific time to roll around. Although I do see some sneak preview shots of our friend Bear out there in Arizona. Thank you, Patsy, for showing us Bear while we wait. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We have just a couple more minutes before we kick things off here. We're enjoying some bear time here while we wait. I'm so happy to see so many people from the UK joining us today. Welcome, as well as everybody else from around the United States and Ireland and everything. Being from the UK originally myself, very happy to see so much representation from my home. We have an exciting program lined up today with lots of your favorite cats. Those that have joined us in the past have made special requests to see some of their favorite Milo's cats, and hopefully today we will not disappoint, and we'll be able to bring those cats to you. So just one more minute to go before we officially kick things off at the sanctuary. And look, I've got my own cat joining me right now as well. Hi. So we'll give it just a few more minutes for people to join and we'll kick things off. Just some housekeeping while we get things rolling. If you do have questions at all during the open house, feel free to place them in the chat or use the Q&A feature. I'll be taking questions in both places to be sure we get to them all throughout the program. And of course, the raise hand option is a button you can use so we can call on you during Q&A as well. But go ahead and just type things in the chat, makes it easier for me to keep track. And if there's any questions we aren't able to get to today, we'll certainly make a post about them on social media. So it is now straight up 1 o'clock here on the West Coast of the United States. So I'm going to kick things over to Michelle to get us started. Michelle, are you ready to rumble?
I am so ready to rumble. And sitting next to me is Connie. Hello. And so you might notice that it looks a little different than our normal sanctuary. Well, that is because we've had horrible winds and it knocked out the internet. They don't know when it's going to get back up. So Connie and I and Tina, we got some of your favorite kitties from the sanctuary and brought them down here to my house so that we could visit with them and not disappoint you guys and cancel it. So, you know, it's a Milo's thing where there's a will, there's a way. So I want to thank everyone for joining us, everyone for your support and your love. And yeah, just your amazing support. And it's just incredible. Since we are a donation-based organization, and people often ask, well, what about grants? Well, grants are great, but grants really aren't written for what we do because we're such an oddball organization. So we do rely on donations, sponsorships, all that kind of stuff to keep these guys running and be able to rescue more kitties. As you know, we just built and opened up the Fortress of Ferals, which is one of the 2 houses. And it's beautiful. And I was hoping to show it to you today, but you can see the video on the fundraiser. And Sterling Davis, our track king buddy, has kindly allowed us to name the one that we're going to build that we're raising funds for after him. It's going to be called Track King Palace, and that will be his in his honor. So let's kick things off. Yes, I am reading cue cards. So we love connecting with you guys from all over the world, and I would love you to type from where you're from and let us know, because it is so much fun to know that we have friends all over the world. And so let us know where you're from. And in April, as long as we're all going the way we're going, we're going to do our first open house in person in April at the sanctuary. We have not done one for 6 months. And we were lucky enough to have Sonia come up with the idea of the virtual events. So since we love doing them, we are going to do both. We're going to do virtual events so you can all join us from everywhere. Yeah. And then we'll do in-person live in-house events so you can come up if you're in the area or you're visiting. So I think it's kind of the best of both worlds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And also, we're going to be opening up the sanctuary for private events. So if you want to have a birthday party, an anniversary, a wedding, it's a beautiful place to do it. And what else is going on?
Should we talk about the TVs on a?
But let me get to them. You go,
Okay.
Noah. Also, we, again, the board of directors, we had an emergency meeting last night after we found out the internet went down. And we were thinking about doing some symposiums about special needs cat care. And we're just curious if that would be something interested for you guys. And when Sterling comes visit, I would love to have him do a virtual TNR session.
That'd be great.
That would be great, yeah. So there's a lot going on. We will be updating our website with events. They may not be tickets yet, but at least it's kind of a save the date thing. So, all right, now we can talk about cats.
Do this, girl.
Well, y'all know who this is.
Here's Fennel.
Fennel has decided that Connie's fingers are just the best things ever. Yep, she's now defleeing, honey. If she's defleeing you, I don't
I
know
know,
around me.
I better check myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you some advantage. So this is Fennel, as you all know. She is doing fabulous, and she is just, oh my God, you've no idea how cute she is.
Michelle, can you tell us a bit about Fennel for those that might not be familiar with her story?
Absolutely. So Fennel came to us from a high kill shelter after she was abandoned there by whoever had her. She has a cleft nose, she has a slight cleft palate, and she's got slight cerebellar hypoplasia. And so she wobbles, and we call her the butterfly girl because she lives in her own private Idaho. And she's gentle and she's sweet, but she also can be crazy and get zoomies, and it's just, she's fun. She's just a bag of love is what she is.
Good girl.
So, and then over here, we have one of your favorites, Sonia, our big boy Hocus, who again came to us from a high kill shelter. He was a cat that was living on the streets, obviously was abandoned, and somebody kicked him so hard they actually cracked the skin and the eye, and it was a mess. So we took him, we got him healthy, found out he was FIV positive, and found out he had cryptococcus, which we are going to talk about later with Kai. But as you see, he is doing very well. Oh, and he also has a little bit of asthma because of the crypto. But he is just the loveliest boy. And we just rescued another big orange boy who could be his brother. And Sonia named him Declan, which I love. And we'll be introducing him once we're back at the sanctuary. And then next to Hocus, tiny comparison, this is Ben. Ben is one of our senior boys. He's been through a lot, and we love him so very much, and he is so smart, and he's out. And then on my lap is Ms. Mookie Monkey Paws. And Mookie was found wandering the streets in LA. She is a munchkin. She's been inbred to the point where the kittens, I'm sure, were coming out blind. So when they figured out they couldn't use her for breeding, they tossed her on the street. Her eyes were so infected that when we got that we had to have them both removed. She was born with deformed eyes, microphthalmia, so it wasn't like she was losing any vision. She didn't have any to begin with. So this is Mookie, and we're sure more cats will join us as we venture forth.
Michelle,
so yeah.
Michelle, we are already getting a slew of questions from our guests. Would you mind taking some questions about Milo's in general, and of course the gang right in front of you?
Would love to. I'm going to have a sip of my soda, but please.
Well, I love this question, and it's one of my favorites because there is a lot of thought that goes into this. Someone asked, how do we name the Milo's cats? Where do we come up with these clever names?
Yeah, so it started a few years ago because I think names are very important. And so we don't normally ever keep the names that the shelter gives them or they come with. We believe that giving them a fresh chance and a fresh name is just the way to go. And many years ago, I don't even know where it came from. We had a kitten named Snickle Fritz. And then we just started naming them silly names. And mostly the names come from the board. Sonia is incredible at naming them. A couple times the staff has named them. I've named them, and sometimes we've had contests. But as far as where we get them, well, we kind of just get them out of our heads because we're weird and odd. And so, and it's kind of fun. So, yeah.
Thanks for that. And yes, I will echo that. We do have a lot of fun coming up with names. And I think sometimes the competition's fierce. We all want to give cats, the names that we choose, but oh gosh, I can't take my eyes off Hocus, Michelle. He's just so handsome. Another question from the group was, do all the cats we rescue get along with each other? The answer is no, of course not. But what do we do with cats that might be a little less social or might have some aggression? How do we handle those cats at the sanctuary?
Yeah, we are super, super lucky that most of them get along. But, we do have, like Sonia said, those ones that just refuse to get along with other cats. So what I do is I desensitize them. So in the annex, after their 14-day isolation period, in the annex, we have big cages, kennels, and we will set one up in there on the top kennel so that they can get used to the smells and the sounds. And then we move them down to the bottom kennel so that the other cats can come up and they can smell them and all that kind of stuff. And then once, and this takes weeks, and sometimes it takes months. And then what we do is we will open up the kennel and let them come in and out. And if we see that they're having a hard time, we put them back in the kennel with some treats and we close the door. So it's a matter of desensitizing them to be around other cats. I have never not been able to do it with cats. Mookie here, she's great with the other cats until somebody tries to get on my lap, and then she'll smack them. And with her paws, with these paws, man, she can smack, let me tell you. So we just kind of desensitize them, go at their pace, and we just haven't really ever had a huge issue that we haven't been able to work around. We also use the CBD chews and the liquids, and that really, really helps a lot. It helps keep them calm. It helps them with pain. It helps them with transitions. So we will give them CBD.
The posse.
The paw CBD, yeah, it's the best. And trust me, we've used a lot. But the paw, by Hocus, but paw CBD we have found is pretty much the best one.
Somebody asked, Hocus is such a large boy. Yes, he is. It's one of the reasons I love him. Thank you for noticing. Is he the biggest cat at Milo Sanctuary?
Yes,
Yes.
easily, yes. And Tina, can you show what Hocus just did? Sonia, this is what I was talking about earlier, him stuffing himself in a small cat toy.
Well,
ridiculous.
he's not aware of his size, Michelle. We don't need to be sizist about his use of toys, do we? You do that, Hocus. You enjoy that toy.
Hey, he got himself into a small box, so, I'm impressed.
All right. Just a reminder to our guests, if you have questions at any time, you can use the Q&A feature or the chat feature. If you're new to Zoom, you should have options for that at the bottom of your Zoom window. We'd love to hear questions. And again, if we don't get to them all live, we'll certainly answer them on our social media.
Yes, absolutely. And we love to answer questions. Oh, I did want to say, I know that we had some contests last month to give away some stuff. We haven't forgotten about it. We had some technical issues with Zoom that Sonia fixed, and everything is a learning process. So we will be contacting you to get you those prizes from the Trap King and Maruta and us in the next couple of weeks. So thank you for your patience. Yes. Anything else, Sonia?
Yeah, one more before we move along. Oh, actually, there's two that just rolled in. These are wonderful questions. Thank you, both Paul and Chad, for these questions. First to Paul's question, Do we ever turn cats away from Milo's? Do we say no, that we can't take certain cats?
So I been the hardest thing to ever learn in rescue. And one of the most vital things is to learn to say no. And it breaks my heart every time we have to say no. But our capacity, I know our financial ability. And so, yes, we do say no, we have to. We take the cats if we have the room and we have the ability to financially support them with your help. And, you know, if we have room and we can help, yeah, we'll take them. If we don't have room, I'm not going to overburden the sanctuary with a gazillion cats that are not getting proper care. I would rather rescue 5 cats a year and have them get the best of everything than 500 cats a year that are living in hell.
And Chad's question is adjacent to this one. What qualifies a cat for lifetime care at Milo's?
That's a really good question. So the lifetime care cats are generally cats that have ongoing medical issues, whether they're got, you know, dental issues, or they're FIV positive, or they have cryptococcus, or they've got cancer, or there's a bazillion different things, or they're paralyzed. We put them in the lifetime care program because we want to make sure that everything is taking care of them for their lives. And let me tell you, it's not a secret. Our vet bills were a little over $100,000 last year, just the vet bills. So yeah, so we do those. Now, the ones that come to us injured, that have a broken leg or missing an eye, we'll get them healthy and happy and put them up for adoption. So it's just a judgment call with us, and we work hand in hand with our veterinarians to determine the best longevity care of the animal in question. And here comes the biggest pest in the whole wide world. Where were you? I missed you. This is Mickey Mouser, who is mostly blind and trouble in a cat suit, and I absolutely adore him. Yeah, and I'm super selfish, and so he lives with me. I'm not gonna lie. He's my so.
Here's another, this is a great question, Deborah G. Thank you so much for asking this. This is a tough question for our board. How do you cope emotionally when we lose a cat? Deborah's still upset over Tommy and Wizard, which I know were special to everyone, but how do we handle that as a team?
Oh, yeah, that's a really hard question. We don't really handle it well.
We have good days and bad
Yeah,
days.
I mean, we have good days and bad days. And, you know, depending on the cat, you know, it's horrible and hard to let them go. But I also don't believe that quality should be sacrificed over quantity. And so I take a great deal of comfort, as does the staff and the board. And that is that we have given them the best life we could have ever given them for as long as we can. And so I take comfort in that, but that doesn't mean that we don't miss them. We talk about them, we share stories, photos,
some tears,
and maybe a drink or two.
Yeah.
You know, so it's never easy. And I have said this, the day that it gets easy for me or anyone involved in Milo's to say goodbye to one of our babies is the day you walk away. So
Thanks, Michelle. Who else is on the couch right now? Who joined you? Is that Mickey?
Mookie, Fennel, and Ben. I don't know where everyone is. There's
nap
it's
time.
nap time. It's nap time. So
Well, it's afternoon. It's you know, it's the sunny time of the day. Michelle asks, another Michelle asks us, what is this board you're referring to? Who's the board?
Board? We just did a post on the board of directors. So we're a registered nonprofit, and every registered nonprofit has to have a board of directors. So we have a board of directors, and on the board of directors is myself. I'm the founder and president. Sitting next to me is Connie. She is the secretary. Sonia, who is the host, is our director of social media. Patsy is our treasurer, and then Debbie is our director of fundraising. So we do actually have a board. And if you go to our website at milocentury.org, we're up there and you can read about us. We should start, Sonia, sharing more stories from us, I think, because, you know, I'm not the only face of Milo's. You guys are too. They help me. They help me do everything. I couldn't do this without them. And most of all, they prop me up when I fall down. And trust me, I've fallen down a lot in the last year.
And we do, as the board, like to have guest posts throughout the year, either highlighting a Milo's cat or telling our Milo's story. And we always appreciate the opportunity to gush to our fans on social media about our Milo's experience. Well, speaking of board members, do we want to go visit some of them right now?
I think that would be great to go visit Herman and Bear. And then I have a question for Patsy once she talks a little bit.
Okay.
Hi, Patsy.
Hello, everybody. Actually, I'm showing you Herman right now because why not? It's Herman. Hi, everybody. So here's Herman and here's Bear. You know, I often get asked, are they related? No, they're not. We just have the great fortune of having two severe cerebellar hypoplasia ginger cats. They're each one of a kind. So let's see. Where would you like me to start, Michelle? Let's see here.
You know what I love to know
Sure.
is we know they're not paralyzed. They don't have the ability to walk because they are so severe.
Right.
So severe in their CH, right? So we are very open about
Right. Mm-hmm.
our animals. So I would love to see what you do to keep them so clean and healthy and the bathroom stuff, because we get a lot of questions about it, and I would love to see. I know what we do with cats, so I would love to see that up.
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. It's actually interesting that you should ask that, because I will start here with Herman, because as you'll notice, Herman is sitting on a lovely pink towel over his bed coverings, because Herman had an accident like 20 minutes before we went on. And so Herman got a quick butt bath. And so that's, you know, he's not quite too thrilled about that. That's okay. He, you know, it is what it is. So with Herman and Bear, yeah, they can't walk, but as Michelle said, they're not paralyzed, so they do not need to be expressed. They have full control over their bodily functions, which I'm glad for that. I've tried expressing a cat with Michelle's help, and I'm terrible at it. So, sometimes we often get asked, why aren't they in diapers? And the quick answer to that is because they don't need them, because they're not incontinent. Like I said, they have full control, and the idea, I don't want them in diapers, because since they have control, if they're in time, and if they do go and I don't know they go, then, you know, that can cause some issues with hygiene and infection potentially and all that stuff. So they really don't need diapers. What they need is for us to pay attention to how often they need to go. And these cats do have ways of letting us know they have to go. Sometimes Herman just yells at us, and then there's Bear, who will typically either wiggle out of his bed and get on the rug here. He'll start yelling at us too. And you know, the one of the realities of living with cats like this is when they got to go, they got to go. And I am thrilled that they will wake us up. However, they will wake us up at all hours sometimes. I had 3 nights in a row this week where I got woken up at right around 2 a.m. by Bear screaming his head off because he wanted to go potty. And so I got up and and actually my husband got up one of the 3 times. So and that's just the reality of having cats like this. You have to be willing to, you know, work around them and not expect them to work around you. So, oh, Bear's got a little itch. So, and the thing about these guys is because they have severe CH and they can't walk, they are prone to constipation. So, oh, there, this is Bear's thing. I can't believe I'm catching this live on video. Bear loves to sometimes get away from it all, and he will just stick his head under his blanket. So there he goes. But yeah, they're prone to constipation, so we have to supplement their food with, we use a little bit of Benefiber and a little bit, and that keeps them pretty regular, although Bear has struggled with it a lot. He tends to either be really backed up or you know, flowing lava out of his butt. So and it's not pretty. There seems to be no in between for Bear. So, and that's another reality of cats like this, is you're going to be dealing with poop. And you know, so you gotta, you can't have you have to have a strong stomach sometimes, because Bear, because he can't walk, he has been known on many occasions to, if we haven't heard him yelling or we have stepped out of the house and we're not here, if he poops on himself, if he gets on the, sometimes he comes out and goes on this rug, and then sometimes he swims through it as he's trying to move around, and we have had him covered head to toe in poop. And it ain't pretty, let me tell you, but we, you know, that's just what we have to do. So, but we do have a litter box for Herman and Bear, and I wanted to show it to you. And I know I showed it last time, but for those of you who weren't here last time, this is how Herman and Bear's litter box is set up. You'll notice it's just newspaper, and this is the paper pellet litter. We don't use clay or clumping litter with them. Because they both have learned how to go to the bathroom laying on their sides. When we got Bear, he was 3 months old, and the young lady who had him had been trying to teach him to potty standing up, and she was holding him up because he couldn't stand on his own. And I immediately thought, no, you know what? That's not natural for him. And I wanted him to learn how to go to the bathroom in a way that felt natural for him. And he took to going potty on his side right away. And Herman was a little older when we got Herman, so he already knew how to do it. And what's really amazing is that they have both figured out how to go laying on their sides with very minimal mess. Every once in a while, Herman pees on his own foot, you know, but let's face it, he's a guy. So, but he, you know, for the most part, they are able to go potty without getting it all over themselves, which is pretty impressive. So, but so we use this kind of litter box, and please, Sonia, stop me if we have questions or anything.
Oh, we have questions, Patsy. We always
okay.
do.
Well,
everybody loves Herman and Bear, so let me know when you're ready.
Well, should I finish talking about the potty, or do we have potty questions?
There's no potty questions specifically. There are CH questions. So everybody
Okay.
loves potty talk. So let's finish that up.
Okay.
And
we'll finish the potty talk. So there's a couple things that are key with Herman and Bear, because people always ask me, so how do you know how often they need to go? Like if they're not actively telling you they need to go, what do you do? Well, what we do here, I'm going to move the camera up slowly so I don't cause any queasiness. Herman and Bear have a potty chart, and we write down every time they have peed up here, and then every time they poop, and we just keep filling it up until we get down to here, and then we erase it and start over. But basically they seem to be on about twice a day schedule. Typically they'll go about once every 12 hours, but sometimes, you know, a Bear will go potty, and then 3 hours later I'll come in here and he's, you know, peed all over himself, or he's screaming to go potty. So it's not entirely predictable, but for the most part, it's about twice a day. And so if they haven't, like if we notice, oh, he went at, say 5:30 in the morning, we are early risers, at about 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening, if they haven't already given us an indication they need to go, we will place them in their litter box and just say, come on, let's go. And typically, even laying on their sides, they will start scratching on the newspaper and they'll go. So, but just in terms of their hygiene, I just wanted to highlight the what I call the CH station, which is this is one of those little bathroom racks you can get at Target or whatever. And in here is we have our diaper pads, because we have potty pads under the blankets in their beds so that they don't ruin these nice expensive beds they're in. We also keep a potty pad under this little rug so that he doesn't soak through the big rug as well. We have rugs in here because these floors are concrete, and obviously we don't want them just rolling out onto the cold, hard concrete. So potty pads are a must. I never thought in my life, I don't have children, I never thought I'd be buying baby wipes by the case at Target, but we do now. And we have lots of towels and rags for when they eat, because these two are messy, messy eaters. So we always have plenty of towels on hand. We keep the paper pellets here. We usually have newspaper in there. I got to refill that. And what's handy for us too is the bathroom, and they don't stay in this bathroom all the time. This is where they stay at night typically, but I just have them here now because it's easier to talk about all this other stuff they have here. But what's nice too is our bathroom also happens to be our laundry room. Right behind me is our washer and dryer. So this is where we also keep, all of our towels and everything for them. So it's actually really handy, because if they have an accident and they need a bath in the sink, we wash them off in the bathroom sink, towel them off, and then boom, it goes in the laundry. So, but anyway, so that's Herman and Bear's potty stuff. So Sonia, throw some questions at me.
I'd love to. Paul would like to know if CH cats wiggle when they sleep. And if so, how do they sleep comfortably if they're wiggling?
Ooh. Well, that's an excellent question. Now, Bear does not. Bear, here, I'm going to show you Bear. Bear pretty much sleeps like a lump, as he's doing right now. Now, Herman has a constant, you can probably see it here. Herman has a constant little head tremor. His head has always got a little shake to it. And it doesn't bother him because I don't think he actually is aware of it, because he's always had it. So when Herman sleeps, you will see as he's sleeping, he has this constant little twitch in his body, like his little body's just kind of twitching, but it's very slight. And again, it's these wiggles and these twitches, they are not painful to them. It's just their the CH has interrupted their muscles' ability to get the proper signals from their brain on how to move intentionally. So they just kind of have these little movements. So Herman sleeps quite well. And so I think he's, I'll be honest with you, I think Herman's a tad bit unhappy right now because his behind is still a little wet and he doesn't like that. So, but yeah, so that's it. They sometimes, some of them can be very shaky while they sleep.
And somebody had asked a question earlier in the chat, and I think you might have covered it, but I want to make sure we get everyone's questions. Because they are wobbly, is it known from, the neurologist or anything, if they experience dizziness or nausea or anything else that we might associate with that wobbliness as people?
Yeah, no, as from what the neurologist has told us now, Bear has to see a neurologist regularly because he has a couple other issues going on that aren't CH, but yeah, no, they, as far as we know, no, they do not have any of that. They, again, like I said, they don't seem to be aware that their movements are different. They just kind of take it all in stride. So we don't see any evidence that it makes them feel uncomfortable or dizzy. It's just kind of how they are. Oh, Herman.
I'd ask you to go back to Bear, but of course he's just hiding in his blanket, which everybody is finding to be too cute. While he's in there though, great question about both of them. Do Herman or Bear like to play with toys? And if so, do they have a favorite?
Well, actually, Now, well, for those of you who got on a little early, I just happened to have the good fortune of sitting here while Bear was playing with his wubba. So there was actually some wubba action. This is Bear's. Oh, okay. I'll give it back. Good Lord. This is Bear's wubba. It's his favorite toy in the world. It's okay, honey. Here you go. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I feel like a terrible mom now. And Herman. So yeah, so Bear does love to play with toys like that. Herman is not so much into toys, but every once in a while I try new things at him. He does like the little feather dancers on the rod, like the little fishing line kind of thing. And I just move it very slowly so he has plenty of opportunities to catch it. But every once in a while he likes to have me put this, this is a newer toy we have. He sometimes likes this in his bed just because it's something different for him to kind of smell and touch and relate to. Because Herman is older, we're really trying to get him to move as much as possible. Because he tends to just want to curl up and not do much of anything. So but yeah, but it's very clear Herman probably didn't get a lot of experience with toys before he came to us because he didn't know what to do with them at all. Whereas Bear has always had toys and loved them. So
Do Herman and Bear purr?
oh, I love that question. So Bear purrs like a maniac. He has the most beautiful musical purr. It's very soothing. There you go, Bear. Now Herman does not exactly purr. But he makes this very, I think it's a lovely grunting sound that seems to come right through his sinuses. And I really don't know for sure what the deal is, why he doesn't purr from his throat. He does have some deformities in the bones in his face, like his jaw grew in crooked. His nose is a bit stunted and small. So I don't know if the nasally sort of grunty thing that we hear is because of his nose isn't quite shaped like normal, but it's definitely, we've identified that that's his version of a purr because he does it when he's really happy and relaxed. So.
And one more question for Herman and Bear. And I love this one since we are talking about toilet habits. What soap works best to wash poop off fur?
Oh, I am so glad you asked that. So, because I was just thinking about this earlier, actually, and I wanted to mention it. So thank you. We use Dr. Bronner's baby unscented body soap or hand soap on them. It has absolutely no, harsh chemicals, no heavy preservatives, and no fragrances. And I'm sure Michelle knows a lot of other really good products to use for cats, but that's the one we use on them. And I want to warn everybody, do not use any products with lavender essential oil in it on your cats. Lavender essential oil is potentially very toxic to cats, and if it absorbs through their fur, it can actually damage their liver. So you want to be really careful that has anything with lavender essential oil, and which is a shame because I have some lovely Dr. Bronner's lavender, but I use that on me, not them. So, but basically just something really gentle that isn't too harsh on them. Yeah.
All right. Well, those were all the questions we received about Herman and Bear. So thank you so much for sharing potty time and all that goes along with it from our favorite orange duo. Can we see Bear one more time before we toss things back to Michelle? Oh, there, buddy, with your blanket.
Hi, Bear. And, I just want to mention for everybody that having these cats is wonderful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. You have to know, though, that when you take on really intensive special needs cats like Herman and Bear, it is life-changing and not always in like the happy fuzzy way. I'll be very honest. There is, like I said, there's a lot of nights where our sleep gets disrupted. My husband and I really haven't traveled together in any sense in the 7 years we've had Herman and Bear because, we basically either have to take them with us or we just haven't traveled together because it's just, finding folks to care for these two is darn near impossible. I would trust Michelle Hoffman with them with my life, but as you can imagine, she is rather busy most of the time. But anyway, so yeah, but they are, if you're interested in getting a special needs cat, just really understand that what you need in your life is going to end up having to kind of revolve around what is best for them, really.
And thanks, Patsy, for always sharing Herman and Bear with us. We're heading back over to Michelle and the team in California. And oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Michelle, you're
I
still
can't hear you, Michelle.
Yep, you're still
You're
muted.
muted. Uh-oh. I had a question for Michelle, actually.
Go for it while she unmutes.
She unmutes. I can't. We still can't hear Michelle. She's yeah. She knows. Well, well, Michelle, when you can talk, I would, since I've been talking about CH and stuff. I've been hearing you talk about the Cryptococcus and having seen photos of cats like Skimble, rest his beautiful little soul, and now Kai. I'm really curious about crypto because I knew nothing about it until you guys got Skimble, and it's such a challenging ailment to work with cats because it takes so much medical care. So while we're enjoying pictures of the cats,
we should be able to hear her now. She just came off mute.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Yay, there she is.
Like I said, glitches, we're learning every time we do this. So Pat, I do have one quick question for you if you're still there.
Yes, I'm here.
We often get asked about, would Herman and Bear do well in a wheelchair?
Oh my goodness, yes. Thank you for asking that because we do get that question. I've had it. So I will tell you that, well, and Michelle knows this because she had it made. We tried it and no, it does not work well. Because as we realized, because their cerebellar hypoplasia, what that is their cerebellum didn't grow properly, and so the ability of their brain to give the right messages to the muscles to coordinate movement is not working. So even if you put them in a wheelchair for a severe CH cat like Herman or Bear, they still don't know how to intentionally move their legs in a way to make the wheelchair move. So unfortunately for them, it doesn't work, but they've also learned to adapt by just being on their sides and just sitting a lot. So they do just fine the way they are. But yeah, I would love to see them be able to do that, but yeah, it doesn't work for them.
Thank you, Patsy. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So on my lap is Ivy, and she's a little blind girl, also a munchkin, blind. And while I know, Patsy, you asked me about crypto, I really never get to visit with. So Sonia, would you mind popping one up real quick?
I would love to. Just one moment.
See, look. So this is Ivy, and getting in on the shot is Autumn. So this is Ivy, and getting in on the shot is Autumn, who was our cat of the week recently. She's such a character, this one. She, believe it or not, she was a feral kitten that used to run and hide. Now she's in your face all the time. So this is Ivy, and Ivy came to us from the Long Beach Animal Shelter, and she is also a munchkin, and she is also blind.
We did not have to remove her eyes like we did Mookie because we just keep them clean and put, you know, eye drops and stuff in them during the week. But she's, as you can see, super sweet. So what happened with Ivy was she was brought into the shelter as a kitten, and I was asked to take her. And so I said yes. And then one of the volunteers decided to adopt her. And that was awesome. And a year later, the shelter contacted me and said, remember that calico munchkin that you were going to take? And I said, yes. And they said, would you still take her? Our volunteer that had her died of brain cancer. So I said, absolutely, yes. So Ivy, again, has a lot of teeth issues. She needs medications for her eyes and all that kind of stuff. So she is also a very good kitty to sponsor, because the sponsorship doesn't just cover like, you know, medications or stuff. The sponsorships also cover when they need a dental, which we all know cat dentals are very, very expensive. Or if she needs special food, or if she needs you know, other types of medication. So that's what your sponsorships go towards, is keeping these guys healthy and happy. And we really, really appreciate it.
Hi, everyone, we're back. And thank you, Sonia, for running the video. We're gonna start using our YouTube channel more. So we're gonna put little snippets like that up on them so you can enjoy them. So obviously sitting next to Connie and I is Kai Shadow Strider. And one of our staff members named him. And he has been the cat of the week and seems to be quite popular. He has cryptococcus. Cryptococcus is a fungal infection. And the way cats get it is by breathing it in from pigeon feces. So what happens is if they're out on the street in the wild and they, you know, cats sniff things and they sniff some poop, pigeon poop, they can breathe the fungus spores into their nose. And it migrates all over their bodies. Normally, you will get this kind of a reaction in the nose. However, Hoke has had it and it presented as a huge lump under his front leg. And then Skimble was presented in the nose, but I've also seen it presented in other ways. If it is not treated, they can go blind because it crosses the brain-blood barrier. They can go blind, they can have seizures, and they can die if it's not treated. It's treated with terbinafine and fluconazole. And there is an IV that they can do for the really bad ones, but it's very, very, that was Cowboy, that's my cat. It's very, very harsh on their system, so we never try to do that. So Kai, I was contacted by someone in Northern California. Kai had been thrown out on the street when the people moved, and they were kind and they were feeding this sweet boy. And he emailed me, the person feeding him, and said, is there any way you can help this cat? He's got cryptococcus. We took him to the vet, but we just can't afford his ongoing medical care and treatment. And here's a perfect example of a lifetime care cat. He's going to need medications for his life. He's going to need regular blood tests to see where his what they call the crypto titer is at. So this is a cat that, yes, he's in our lifetime care program because, you know, most people just don't, especially right now, have the financial resources or the time to invest in the care it takes. So when we got him, and the photos are very graphic, this entire side of his face was completely ulcerated. And I mean, it looked like rotten hamburger. It really did. And it smelled and it was infected. And a friend of mine who lives in Northern California, which is where he is, she has a rescue called Rocket Rescue. She, I asked her to please go pick him up. So she went and picked him up, and the plan was she was going to keep him for a week till she could bring him down, but he was in such bad shape. She literally drove down in the middle of the night and brought him to us. We took him to our vet, Dr. Sanders, and got him immediately on fluconazole and cleaned up the wound. And then we were putting tobramycin eye drops in the eye, but we were also squirting it all around the outside, and it cleared, and he was on oral antibiotics, and it cleared up. People have asked about the swelling in his nose. When you see the before photos compared to now, it's going down. Will it ever be normal? I have no idea. What's in there? It's swollen tissue. And what happens is as it grows, it spreads and it widens their nose, and it can cause ulcerations. And then once you start getting it under control, the idea is that, oh, you scared him.
I'm sorry.
The idea is that, yes, it will go down. It will probably never, ever, ever be normal. But I think he's cute the way he is. And then we didn't know whether we would be able to save this eye, but obviously we did. He is gaining weight. He was horribly matted when we got him. He was skin and bones. He's due for another vet visit soon. So crypto, yeah, so it is a controllable thing. There is no cure for it. It's simply controllable through medications, vet visits, blood tests, but they will have it for their lives. It's not something that just goes away. So Sonia, do we have any questions?
We sure do. Of course. So we have such an inquisitive bunch, and I love it. Michelle, actually, can you tell us first, we've had other crypto cats at Milo's, and one that was quite popular. Can you just remind the longtime fans of our first real crypto star, our Skimble?
Skimble Sky Paws. So Skimble came to us, gosh, like 8 years ago. And he was the first Cryptococcus cat I'd ever rescued. And I used to be a vet tech, and I'd never heard of it. So I took him to an internist, and she diagnosed it, and we put him on medications. His nose was bad, but it was all in his nose. It wasn't at all in his eye socket. He did great for many, many years. But then unfortunately, he got cancer in his nose from the crypto. The crypto was under control, but because of the damage done, he developed cancer, and sadly we had to let him go, and we miss him very much. So I've kind of become a semi-expert on crypto because I want to know everything there is about anything that affects our babies. Sadly, oh, bye. Oh, there you go. Sadly, we did rescue a kitty from a place, from a kill shelter, and he passed before we could save him, and he died of crypto. So it will kill them.
Well, we're so glad that shelters know to reach out to us, and volunteers in shelters when they find crypto cats. Rima asks if there's a vaccine or anything to prevent crypto before exposure other than not letting our cats outside.
No, it's fungus. It's not virus. And it's not bacterial. It's a fungus. You know, no cat, in my world, no cat should ever be outside that's a domestic house cat. There are too many dangers, and I could wax eternally about the cats that I have rescued that have been allowed on the street. So none of our cats go outside ever. We have catios where they can go and enjoy the fresh air and the sunshine. And what we do is make sure that they're always clean, that there's no kind of other animal droppings or dirt or anything like that. We keep them very clean. But no, there is no vaccine.
Is it contagious to the other cats?
That is a very good question. And that was one of the first questions I asked the internist when I got Skimble. No, it is not. That is why Kai and Hocus and stuff can be around the other cats. They cannot transfer it from cat to cat or from human to cat. You know, it's not a zoonotic disease. And so they're safe. The only way that they can get it is through pigeon feces, to my knowledge.
Is Kai uncomfortable or in pain with that swelling in his face?
For sure, when we got him, he was in pain. Absolutely. We immediately put him on pain medications. He wasn't really eating. Is he in pain now? No. It's like, you know, when you get something in your body and it swells a little bit, if you get a shot, it swells and it hurts. And then it goes, and then it stops hurting. That's kind of where he's at. And no, he's not showing any signs of pain at all. And we take him regularly to the vet that saved him, Dr. Sanders at All Care. And so we monitor him very closely. There's Hocus. He's great.
Who's sitting with you, Michelle? Is that Cecil?
That is Cecil Rumblebelly. And he is one that Patsy actually rescued. He is a senior, he is diabetic, he is FIV positive, and she found him outside of a school that she was working at the time in 110-degree weather. He was skin and bones. He was in horrible shape. She took him to the vet. The vet said, he's diabetic, he's FIV positive. Patsy said, what do you want to do? And I said, well, what do you think I want to do? He needs to come to Milo's. So that's how he got to Milo's. And he, it's funny, he and Hocus sometimes don't get along because they're both vying for alpha male in the household. But I keep reminding them the only alpha anything in this household is me. So, you know, we make sure that they're both, you know, if we see anything starting to raise up, we immediately separate them.
Well, you know, the offer's always open, Michelle. Hocus can come and stay here anytime. It's a long-standing and, you know, evergreen option for Hocus. Sarah had a question about how, actually not how, but where Milo's receives most of the donations. Is it sponsorship? Is it the one-time events we do, or is it just all of that together makes the big impact?
All of that together. All of that together. The sponsorships are vital because we couldn't take care of them if we didn't have the sponsorships. The donations are vital because that's what allows us to rescue new cats. And then the live events we do, we don't charge people to come visit, just like we don't charge for these. But we have our boutique up there, and we've got and we've got an online store, which is fantastic. And oh, by the way, just saying, Patsy and I saw each other a couple of weeks ago, and we started to make, Patsy's always made jewelry, but she's got me obsessed. So we are now making original one-of-a-kind jewelry for Milo's out of our own pockets, which we will get up online for sale. And I've made them, Patsy's made them. And it was a lot of fun to just sit and chat and make them. So yes, the online store, our boutique, just a donation makes a huge difference. And, you know, whether it's $1 or $1 million, it's important because it counts. And we appreciate any donation. Heck, I pick pennies off the street, okay? I am so not proud. I do whatever I have to do. I work a regular full-time job on top of running the sanctuary, and my full-time regular job helps to support the sanctuary. So it's a little bit of everything just mixed together.
Lottie, who's joining us from the UK, has a great question that I'm sad to see this is the case in the UK. The question is, do US shelters let people adopt cats if they do not have access to the outside? And of course, the answer is absolutely. U.S. rescues and shelters encourage us to keep our cats indoors. Apparently in the UK, it's hard to adopt cats if you live in a flat or don't let cats outside, the exception being FIV positive cats. So very different here in the US. There's strong movement to keep cats inside for their safety. So pretty much just the opposite there, Lottie. Rita would like to know what kind of shoes Connie is wearing today. Apparently that's a hot question.
Oh, that was a gift I gave her.
Don't tell them the truth.
After I realized they were too big for me. So I kindly said, do you want these? And she said, yes. And she's never been out of them since. What that is that's the goddess Bast on there, the Egyptian goddess Bast. And there's Basts all over my house. There's behind me are Basts. And then up on the wall behind me is a portrait of Persephone, who some of you may know, some of you don't. She was the love of my life and my daughter, and she passed away. And then there's a photo of Persephone and I that my friend, who is an artist, took, and then she did her magic with it. And then way over there is Persephone envisioned as a human, from my friend Tracy, who is an amazing artist. And she's done all of the prints that you see on our web store. And we have some new ones coming up that we're gonna get up for sale. She's done Hocus, she's done Jack, she's done Fennel. I think that's it. I think she's done 3. So yes, that's my house. It's all cats.
Sarah asks us how we manage having the FIV positive cats alongside the non-positive cats.
Oh,
Great
that's a
question.
great question. And Patsy did this in our last live. And this is why I want to do the educational videos.
Right.
FIV is different than FELV. Okay, so one is an immune disorder caused by a virus. The other is also a virus, but it's contagious and it will eventually kill them. So FIV, which is what he has, it's an immune disorder once they catch it. They call it kitty AIDS. It's not kitty AIDS, but it's FIV like HIV. But it's different at the same time. It's very confusing. Anyway, to answer your question, we don't worry about it. As long as they're not fighting, causing deep bite wounds, they're not having sexual contact with each other, which of course we have everybody spayed and neutered. It is not contagious. And I wish the vets of the world would listen to that, because they are killing FIV positive cats, telling people to get rid of them. It's not a thing. It's just not a thing. We have had FIV positive cats for years. Never has it been transferred. And I'll tell you something that one of my vets that I did my internship with, who I adore, who's since retired, he said, these cats had FIV years and years before we knew what it was. We just didn't have the test for it, and we didn't know, and it wasn't a big deal then. It's not a big deal. You do have to watch them if they get sick a little bit more, and they do tend to have some dental issues. But as long as they're healthy, this Hocus, it's got FIV, he's got FIV, Tommy had FIV, Aiden has FIV. Now feline leukemia is also, it is contagious. It's not like regular cancer leukemia. Again, very confusing. So feline leukemia is contagious, and it does eventually kill them.
And that's FEL.
And that's FELV. So when you talk to your vet about it, make sure you're talking about the right one. And then there's FIP, which is a whole nother thing we'll do. We'll do a whole thing on FIP.
All the Fs.
All the Fs.
I think we should do a piece on all of those. That would be lovely. So believe it or not, this hour has blown by. We are just about out of time, but we've had several people ask, and I think this is a wonderful question to wrap on for those that haven't heard this answer before. Why is Milo Sanctuary called Milo Sanctuary?
So way back when, somebody and I started Milo's together. She wanted to do exotic big cats, and I was going to do domestic cats. And the first cat that we ever rescued, who was an exotic, huge 50-pound Chowsy, he was an F1, which means he was basically wild. We rescued him. We got him to a great big cat sanctuary, and we decided, hey, let's start a nonprofit and do this forever. And so she said, well, if I do all the paperwork and all that, can I name it after Milo? And I said, absolutely. So that's where it got its name. And then she decided she didn't want to do it. So I took over the organization, and we are now just legally, officially Milo's Sanctuary Inc. So that's the story. So there was a Milo. He has long since passed. Milo's will be 17 years old in July. So there's your story.
Great. So we are at our hour. If we didn't get to your question, I know we had just a few more. We'll be sure to answer it on our social this week. As we mentioned, we're going to be doing videos with educational things about FIP, FELV, FIV, and a bunch of other topics coming soon, as well as continuing these virtual open house events so that we can all bring you the Milo's cats, even if you can't make it to the West Coast to visit us. We enjoyed seeing you all today. And Michelle, you want to take us out?
Literally, or
Well, wrap us up, bring us home.
first of all, thank you to Connie's and my dear friend Tina, who's been running the camera all
Yeah,
day
thank
for
you,
us. She is just, I cannot tell you how wonderful she is and what a good friend she is. And thank
her
you.
husband.
And her husband, who's not here right now, Chad. And thank you to my board for always being there, and my staff, who I couldn't do this without. But most of all, thank you to you guys,
Yeah.
our Milo's family. We couldn't do this without you. We love you. We absolutely consider you family members. We know that you love these guys
You're
for
the
all of their
best.
works. Yes.
You're the best.
And we were just talking, and I'll end with
Oh, this
this.
is good.
Yeah, this is good. So, you know how different
Sorry.
places and organizations have, you know, like Milo's team or whatever. We want something like Milo's something that it denotes family and friendship. And so
For our supporters.
for your supporters, what would you guys like to call yourselves? So let us know. Send us a message, and for goodness sakes, let us know. And we will see you guys soon. And thank you so much. We love you.
Love you guys.